Casey, are you there?
I am here.
Hi.
Hi, honey.
Hi, babe. So today we're going over more Bible stuff. We got a lot of story to get through today.
Yeah.
But I'm going to shorten this shit up real quick.
Oh, and we're just not going to have to do it at all?
You can close your book because this is going to be verbatim in like 2 minutes.
I don't know if people heard that. Hold on. It's closed.
See?
Uh-huh.
Good girl. All right, so as you heathens remember last time, Solly became king, right? The Solomon, I'm just giving him a nickname. Well, anyways, Abinhinijab wanted Solly to give him the Shaggyhag because women are property, and he wanted her. And then Beth asked Solly about it, but Solly ain't taking shit from no backstabbers, so he yeeted the fuck out of him into the afterlife.
Oh my God, you said yeet in our Bible study.
Yep. Next, he removed Thar's eye from the big dick priest position, but allowed him to live because he sucked that god dick really good.
Thar's eye?
Yeah, that's what I got. Thar's eye. He removed the Thar's eye guy from the big dick priest position. But after that, Solly then had Binbin-sala-bin kill Joab in some kind of weird show of power because Joab is a backstabber and Solly ain't got time for that. Solly then made Binbin-sala-bin the big dick military guy, and Zardoz became the priest in charge.
Binbin-sala-bin?
Yes.
Okay. His name is Benaiah.
Solly then went for Shamu and told his ass to stay in Jerusalem, but his bitch-ass slaves decided to run away from him because slavery things, and he had to go back and get his property. And so Solly had Shamu killed for leaving Jerusalem because that was a big no-no for him. And then Solly allied himself with a pharaoh and married the pharaoh's daughter because property reasons. And then the pharaoh was like, I'm going to give her something nice to commemorate selling her into sexual slavery, basically. So I'm going to go and kill everybody of this town named Gezer, which I'm guessing is just a whole bunch of old people, maybe. But he killed everyone there, slaughtered them, spread their blood all over the place, and then decided to give the city to his daughter, all bloodied up and everything. And then God appeared to Solly, and Solly said that he would trade getting some good-ass head for whatever he wanted. God ends up giving him more than what he asked for because Solly's head game's on point.
Oh, God.
Then Solly ritualistically killed a bunch of animals as one does after getting head, or giving head, I guess. I never know which one. Anyways. Then Solly shows his awesome compromise skills by offering to cut up a baby for 2 women. The end. I'm sorry, honey. You're looking at me like I just murdered your pet.
I'm just gonna have to open this book back up right here. Yeah,
No.
yeah. I'm just gonna. There's not like a dramatic noise for opening a book. So like here, you probably didn't hear that, but I totally reopened the book.
What's up, heathens? How y'all doing? So obviously I got shit wrong because I really don't think they talk about, big dick positions, but the head part's right.
Not exactly, no.
Oh, okay.
And I know I fuck up names sometimes, but goddamn. So, today we're actually going to go over 1 Kings, and we're going to do chapter 2 and I think 3, right? Isn't that? Yeah. 2 and part of 3, or 2 and 3. So, like GE said, last time Solomon became king, and I don't know if you remember, but Adonijah, Solomon's brother, basically claimed the kingdom for the kingship for himself and was having a feast and whatever. And there were some people that betrayed David and Solomon by going with Adonijah that he was king. Some of those people included Abiathar, which was the big dick priest, and Joab, the military commander, right?
Okay.
So these are things that Solomon has to deal with as soon as he becomes king, right? So that's where we're going to start today, sort of.
Okay.
Adonijah, if you remember last time, submitted to Solomon being king, if you remember. So today he decides, and he's the son of Haggith, which we already knew. He went to Bathsheba. And if you don't recall, Bathsheba is Solomon's mom, one of David's wives. In fact, she's the wife that he took from the guy he had killed.
His name was Uriah or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. Fun fact, urea is what you make when you pee.
Thank you, honey.
urea, I don't know. It kind of feels connected.
You want to sing the Today I Learned song real quick?
Well, today I learned.
I mean, that wasn't today you learned. You were just teaching. So anyway.
Well, I don't actually think that's a fact. I was just.
Well, I know the urethra is the thing it comes out.
Right.
I don't
you're
really
talking
know
about the urea. Okay. You were just talking. I thought you were meaning the connection between urea and Uriah.
No, I was just talking about urea.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I thought what comes out was called a urine.
Well, I mean, it is, but urea is the technical chemical.
Oh. See? Today I learned that.
Yeah.
I haven't really studied piss a lot. So I was unaware of that particular tidbit. But, I love that you know a lot of things. So Adonijah went to Bathsheba, Solomon's mother, and Bathsheba asked him, "Do you come peacefully?" Because, they just had this kind of conflict where he took the kingship from him. Mm-hmm. He answered, "Yes, peacefully." Then he added, "I have something to say to you." "You may say it," she replied. "As you know," he said, "the kingdom was mine." It wasn't. "All of Israel looked to me as their king." They didn't. "But things changed, and the kingdom has gone to my brother, for it has come to him from the Lord. Now I have one request to make of you. Do not refuse me." I'd be like, bitch, why don't you stop telling me what to do?
Yeah, it is kind of demanding, isn't it?
Right? And so she says, "You may make it." So he continued, "Please ask King Solomon, he will not refuse you, to give me Abishag, the Shunammite, as my wife."
Now, Abishag is the virgin girl that they had selected to take care of King David when he was sick and geriatric.
Yes. They had said before that she was really beautiful. And she was a virgin, apparently. But she laid with David to keep him warm. But that doesn't mean that they slept together, apparently. So, very well, Bathsheba replied, "I will speak to the king for you." So when Bathsheba went to King Solomon to speak to him for Adonijah, the king stood up to meet her, bowed down to her, and sat down on his throne. He had a throne brought for the king's mother, and she sat down at his right hand. "I have one small request to make of you," she said. "Do not refuse me." The king replied, "Make it, my mother. I will not refuse you." So she said, "Let Abishag, the Shunammite, be given in marriage to your brother Adonijah." King Solomon answered his mother,
"Fuck no."
That's not exactly what he said, but basically. Mm-hmm. "Why do you request Abishag the Shunammite for Adonijah? You might as well request the kingdom for him. After all, he is my older brother. Yes, for him and for Abiathar the priest and Joab the son of Zeruiah." Those are all the people that,
fucked him over?
Yeah. Then King Solomon swore by the Lord. May God deal with me, be it ever so severely, if Adonijah does not pay with his life for this request. And now, as surely as the Lord lives, he who has established me securely on the throne of my father David has founded a dynasty for me as he promised. Adonijah shall be put to death today. So King Solomon gave orders to Benaiah. What'd you call him?
Binbin-sala-bin.
Yeah, him. Son of... who gives a fuck? And he struck down Adonijah and he died. You know I don't know this name. Jehoiada.
Jehor.
Okay. So Benaiah struck down Adonijah and he died. All right? At Solomon's order.
Right.
To Abiathar the priest, the king said, "Go back to your fields in Anathoth. You deserve to die, but I will not put you to death now, because you carried the ark of the sovereign Lord before my father David and shared all my father's hardships." So Solomon removed Abiathar from the priesthood of the Lord, fulfilling the word the Lord had spoken at Shiloh about the house of Eli. So he removed the priest, right? When the news reached Joab, who had conspired with Adonijah, though not with Absalom, because, you know, Joab is the one that killed Absalom, who was also David's son and Solomon's brother, he fled to the tent of the Lord and took hold of the horns of the altar. King Solomon was told that Joab had fled to the tent of the Lord and was beside the altar. Then Solomon ordered Benaiah, "Go strike him down." So Benaiah entered the tent of the Lord and said to Joab, "The king says, 'Come out.' But he answered, 'No, I will die here.' Benaiah reported to the king, 'This is how Joab answered me.' Then the king commanded Benaiah, 'Do as he says. Strike him down and bury him, and so clear me and my father's house of the guilt of the innocent blood that Joab shed. The Lord will repay him for the blood he shed, because without the knowledge of my father David, he attacked 2 men and killed them with the sword. Both of them, Abner, son of Ner, yes.
That name is just funny to me, sorry.
He was the commander of Israel's army, and Amasa, son of Jether, commander of Judah's army, were better men and more upright than he. May the guilt of their blood rest on the head of Joab and his descendants forever. But on David and his descendants, his house and his throne, may there be the Lord's peace forever." So Benaiah went up and struck down Joab and killed him, and he was buried on his own land in the desert. So now we have an empty high priest seat and an empty high commander seat. So King Solomon put Benaiah over the army in Joab's position, which makes sense, right? He does all the hack and slash shit.
Right.
And then replaced Abiathar with Zadok the priest. Okay, so now he's got those positions filled with the people he wants. Now, I don't know if any of you remember Shimei or Shimei, or it's
Shamu.
It's Shimei. He is the person who, when King David was exiled from Jerusalem, and when Absalom took over, so when that all happened, Shimei cursed King David as he was leaving Jerusalem and going into exile. So the king sent, this is Solomon. Now the king sent for Shimei. That's not Shamu.
Shamu.
And said to him, "Build yourself a house in Jerusalem and live there, but do not go anywhere else. The day you leave and cross the Kidron Valley, you can be sure you will die. Your blood will be on your own head." He answered the king, "What you say is good. Your servant will do as my lord the king had said." And he stayed in Jerusalem for a long time. But 3 years later, 2 of his slaves ran to some person in Gath, the king of Gath. And when he was told that his slaves were in Gath, he saddled his donkey and went there in search of his slaves. So Shimei went away and brought the slaves back from Gath. When Solomon was told that he had gone from Jerusalem to Gath and had returned, the king summoned Shimei and said to him, "Did I not make you swear by the Lord and warn you, on the day you leave to go anywhere else, you can be sure you will die? At that time you said to me, 'What you say is good, I will obey.' Why then did you not keep your oath to the Lord and obey the command I gave you? The king also said to Shimei, you know in your heart all the wrong you did to my father David. Now the Lord will repay you for your wrongdoing, but King Solomon will be blessed, and David's throne will remain secure before the Lord forever. Then the king gave the order to Benaiah, and he went out and struck Shimei down and killed him. The kingdom was now firmly established in Solomon's hands.
Okay.
Right? So now, 3 years later that, he's dealt with all of the fucked up people he wanted to deal with, he decides to get married. So he made an alliance with Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and married his daughter. He brought her to the city of David until he finished building his palace and the temple of the Lord and the wall around Jerusalem.
I like how it doesn't have a specific Pharaoh name.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
It's just Pharaoh.
Pharaoh, king of Egypt.
Yeah, so it removes any way of actually dating this shit.
Uh-huh. It also doesn't give her name to where we could, check that out. So Pharaoh, and this is actually an excerpt that this part right here starts 1 Kings chapter 3. This little excerpt right here actually comes from chapter 9, verse 16, but it fits right here chronologically. So the king of Egypt attacked and captured Gezer. He set it on fire, killed its Canaanite inhabitants, and then gave it as a wedding gift to his daughter, Solomon's wife.
Oh,
so that was sweet.
Yeah, you think they cleaned up the city before they gave it over?
No.
It's like, we left all the dead bodies there because we thought you might want them.
Well, the weird thing is that she's now the not really a queen, I guess. I don't know how that I guess she was the queen of Jerusalem.
I don't know.
Israel. I don't know. But anyway, she's
the first queen because
well, I don't really think they get titles, though. I don't really think the women get titles at this point.
No, because they're property.
Yeah.
So, do you give your car a title?
I mean, yeah, a car has a title.
No, I meant second in command or...
I mean, I gave my car a name.
Yeah, you do. But, women have a name in the Bible, too.
Some of them. But not very many. So I think that's a super weird wedding gift, but oh well, because she's going to be living in Jerusalem. Like, she's going to be living with Solomon. So There's really no point in giving her a city. That doesn't make any sense. But anyways, moving along. What
do you think the rate of the return is on a barren city that has no people in it because they were all murdered?
Probably, and he set fire to it. Yeah. So, everything's fucking burned up.
That place is definitely haunted. If there's any place that could be haunted, a city of people that you slaughtered in order to give the city as a present to your daughter, that place would be haunted. I'm just saying.
If you count that, you'd have to count the entire earth that had any inhabitants when, the Great Flood happened.
Oh, yeah. The entire earth is haunted, honey, on that particular model.
What?
On the flood model
of
the history,
Uh-huh.
I would say the entire earth is definitely haunted.
Okay. So the people, the Israelites, were still sacrificing at the high places because their temple wasn't built yet, right? And, it's weird because Solomon's been king for 3 years and they haven't even started the temple. And David made all the preparations for the temple and got him all the supplies. So I don't really know why they hadn't started yet. But Solomon showed his love for the Lord by walking according to the statutes of his father David, except that he offered sacrifices and burned incense on the high places. So that's one thing he didn't do because he was supposed to build the temple. Then Solomon spoke to all Israel, to the commanders of thousands and commanders of hundreds, to the judges and to all the leaders in Israel, the heads of families. And Solomon and the whole assembly went to the high place at Gibeon, for God's tent of the meeting was there, which Moses the Lord's servant had made in the desert. Now David had brought up the ark of God from Kiriath Jearim to the place he had prepared for it, because he had pitched a tent for it in Jerusalem. Mm-hmm. He pitched a tent, honey.
Yes, he did.
But the bronze altar that Bezalel, son of Uri, the son of Hur, had made, it was in Gibeon in front of the tabernacle of the Lord. So Solomon and the assembly inquired of him there. Solomon went up to the bronze altar before the Lord in the tent of the meeting and offered 1,000 burnt offerings on it.
That's a lot of dead animals.
Yep, a lot. A lot of blood, a lot of guts. It's just fucking gross. At Gibeon, the Lord appeared to Solomon during the night in a dream. And God said, "Ask for whatever you want me to give you." Solomon answered, "You have shown great kindness to your servant, my father David, because he was faithful to you and righteous and upright in heart. You have continued this great kindness to him and have given him a son to sit on his throne this very day." He had a lot of sons.
Yeah.
"Now, O Lord my God, you have made your servant king in place of my father David, but I am only a little child and do not know how to carry out my duties. Your servant is here among the people you have chosen, a great people, too numerous to count or number." So didn't they just get in trouble for fucking counting these motherfuckers?
Yeah, they did. They're not innumerable. Like, you can do a census, and I don't understand.
Yeah.
Anyways.
"So give your servant a discerning heart to govern your people and to distinguish between right and wrong." That is actually a really nice thing to ask for, don't you think?
Well, yeah, I mean, he asked for the right things, I guess.
I just think that's that's a wise thing to ask for. Give me, I hope that I can have a discerning heart to be able to tell between right and wrong.
Yeah, I mean, but it's kind of like, hey, can I have a discerning heart and magical powers?
But he didn't ask for magical powers.
I'm saying I would have asked for magical powers.
Oh, okay. That's why you're not king of Israel.
I think there's multiple reasons why I'm not king of Israel, honey.
So, for who is able to govern this great people of yours that I got distracted by. So he asked for a discerning heart to give your people and to distinguish between right and wrong, for who is able to govern this great people of yours. So the Lord was pleased that Solomon had asked for this. So God said to him, "Since you have asked for this, and not for long life or wealth for yourself, nor have you asked for the death of your enemies, but for discernment in administering justice, I will do what you have asked. I will give you a wise and discerning heart, so that there will never have been anyone like you, nor will there ever be. Moreover, I will give you what you have not asked for, both riches and honor, so that in your lifetime you will have no equal among kings. And if you walk in my ways and obey my statutes and commands, as David your father did, I will give you a long life."
You know, this just sounds like he's embellishing himself, doesn't it? It's kind of like, yeah, God came to me last night and granted me 3 wishes.
I was in the middle of taking a drink and had to spit it out because I almost spit it everywhere.
Well, I mean, that's really what it was like. It's like he rubbed the lamp and the genie came out and God gave him his 3 wishes. And, but he passes it off as, I only asked for discernment of like right and wrong, but God went ahead and gave me all this golden bitches.
It's funny because in the intro to the show, your summary, you didn't say that he rubbed a lamp.
No. He definitely gave God head.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, you could take this any kind of way.
Oh.
Solly took it in the mouth.
Okay. Then Solomon awoke, and he realized it had been a dream. He returned to Jerusalem, stood before the ark of the Lord's covenant, and sacrificed burnt offerings and fellowship offerings. Then he gave a feast for all his court.
Oh, so it was a dream, therefore it's a prophecy of, like, his reign as king. Like, It was God talking to him.
Yeah.
He must give good head in his dreams.
He must.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't say anything about his condition when he woke up, though.
No. I'm guessing he had the Holy Spirit in him, though.
He might have. So, sometime later, 2 prostitutes came to the king, and stood before him. One of them said, "My lord, this woman and I live in the same house. I had a baby while she was there with me. The third day after my child was born, this woman also had a baby. We were alone, and there was no one in the house but the two of us. During the night, this woman's son died because she lay on him. So she got up in the middle of the night and took my son from my side. While your servant was asleep, she put him by her breast and put her dead son by my breast. The next morning I got up to nurse my son, and he was dead. But when I looked at him closely in the morning light, I saw that this wasn't the son I had born." The other woman said, "No, the living one is my son, the dead one is yours." But the first one insisted, "No, the dead one is yours, the living one is mine." And so they argued before the king. The king said, "This one says my son is alive and your son is dead, while that one says, no, your son is dead and mine is alive." Then the king said, "Bring me a sword." So they brought a sword for the king. He then gave an order, "Cut the living child in two and give half to one and half to the other." The woman whose son was alive was filled with compassion for her son and said to the king, "Please, my lord, give her the living baby. Don't kill him." But the others said, "Neither I nor you shall have him. Cut him in two." Then the king gave his ruling, "Give the living baby to the first woman. Do not kill him. She is his mother." When all Israel heard the verdict the king had given, they held the king in awe, because they said that he had wisdom from God to administer justice.
Okay, so here's the reason why I think that story's bullshit.
Okay.
I mean, for one, it's in the Bible, so there's almost a guarantee that it is. But also, if you're trying to pass off a kid as your own, and like you're lying about it and everything like that because you want the kid, you're not going to be like, "Yeah, sure, cut that little shit in half."
Yeah, I agree. It's stupid.
Yeah, so I really don't think that this is an actual thing that happened, but he's just trying to bolster his ability to discern right and wrong as it being godly. Somehow, like, as if basic decision-making skills is apparently a godly thing.
Yeah.
So I don't buy that bullshit.
Well, this is the proof that he has God's wisdom. This story right here.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, it's like basic decision-making skills is God's wisdom.
Yeah, I totally agree. So that's all for this week.
Yay! We
Yes.
ended with not murdering a baby.
Yay! Hey, that works out though. A lot of times we end with murdering people. So.
Well, yeah, true, but I mean, we spent the entire chapter or 2 chapters like murdering the fuck out of everybody. So.
Well, a few people, but they deserved it.
Yeah, like I don't know, Binbin-sala-bin, he survived.
Binbin-sala-bin is the one who killed everybody.
Yeah, on the order of Solly.
Yeah.
So I guess Solly's hands are clean.
Yeah, but so are Binbin-sala-bin's because the other people were guilty.
Oh, that's a good point.
That's how that works. Yeah. So next week, Solomon is going to sign. He's going to come into a contract with King Hiram of Tyre so that they can build the temple. He's going to get laborers from him. They're going to go through the dimensions of the temple, the stones, the porch, the windows, the fucking walls and floor, the cherubim, the doors, all the fucking pillars, the altar, the stands, the basins, the courtyards, the brasswork, the everything. We're going to go through all of that shit next week. Next week we're building the temple. Yeah.
Well, so I think I'm going to use Donald Trump next week for the thumbnail.
Okay.
Like when he's holding up one of his bills that he signed.
Uh-huh.
And I'm gonna have Solomon's face there.
Uh-huh.
And just stoic, and he's like showing it, and it's just gonna be like a child's drawing.
And you should put in like the background, like behind him, you should have like Trump's apartment in New York, that's all gold. That's what you should do.
That's a good idea.
Mm-hmm. I know, I'm smart.
Okay.
So, anyway, that's what we're going to talk about next time. on the Daily Bible Podcast.
Awesome.
Yep.
If you're part of the Skeptic Mafia and you're listening, you guys have a Skeptic Mafia podcast up, in case you don't know.
On the community tab?
On the community tab. You guys can go and check that out. And I guess we'll be seeing you heathens later.
Don't forget to stand up and use your voice.
Bye, heathens.
Bye, y'all.